In terms of lameness, the two main types we normally see is mechanical lameness and infectious lameness. With some mechanical lameness West video, what are the main issues you would expect to see in terms of mechanical lameness?
Okay, mechanical lameness is probably the biggest cluster of lamenesses that we see in the grazing herd. And there's three three types. We see white line disease, we see bruising, sole bruising, and we see sole ulcers. And I think it's important to make distinction between mechanical lameness and the infectious lameness, which we talk about later. With mechanical lameness, it really has to do with foot damage and damage to the sole of the foot. I think it's important to realize that the sole of the foot is only six in a heifer might only be 6 millimeters thick. In a cow it might be 9 or 10 millimeters thick, and it's made of functional keratin, which is something similar to what's in your nail. So it's not something destructible. And we're asking cows now with larger herds and longer roadways to walk or walk long distances. And this keratin that forms the book can be damaged. So I think like as farmers to try reduce the amount of damage done to the foot, we need to think in terms of giving cows a good surface to walk on that doesn't damage their beak, allowing them time and space. Like cows are relatively cautious animals, and if you watch a cow walking normally, John, she will walk with her head down, she'll check the surface, and if you walk on a concrete surface and there's a stone there, step by it, she won't step on. If you have a situation where cows are pressurized, you'd say they've been pushed by a bogway or they've been pushed by the doll, and where they're crowded and they're walking along and they have the heads up on the backs of the cows in front of them, they can't see the ground, they can't avoid the headbirds, and then they come down, hit the hard on stones, and sometimes you can get the white line, which is the weakest part of the hoof along the periphery of the hoof. The weakest part open drop it down on a stone like that, and the white line get punctured and keep in from the day's labour. The other thing that we see happening is when cows can compete, or they're pushing or shoving. There might be a situation where you have cows crammed into a collecting yard, and cows have a walking order when they're coming in along the roadway into the parlour, and they have a mating order. And anyone that makes those will tell you that they're not the same. We will often get situations where the cow that arrives first into the collecting yard, he doesn't want to get mixed or white, want to hang back. Another cow that arrives then in the middle of the herd, she might get up there go away. So you have to allow room in the collecting yard for cows to shuffle. And if you don't allow that happen, what happens if they get agitated? They get upset, they start pushing and shoving, and they need this spread the thing with their feet, and all that contributes to hoof damage to the sole, increasing the risk of bruising, increasing the risk of a fight line. So, like the advice that we have there, impact the farmers involves around allowing cows time and space. There's a professor in New Zealand, Lee Chesterfield, been researching lameness in grazing cows all his life, and he likes to think in terms of drawing the comparison between the cow and the Arctic truck. You have an Arctic truck going around the bend. A right angle bend doesn't suit it. They make a wide space, and your herd of cows, you should think of it the same way. That they run around the corner, that they have a wide swing, that they have plenty of space, and it's all that they're reducing that turning pressure on the soles of the feet. If cows are turning a lot, and especially if on a rough surface or they're doing it in a hurried way, over time what tends to happen, the weakest point of the sole, your white line, you tend to get a boob opening up there, then you get your stones and your wriggling up there. Over time, it pushes up through the hook, it gets as far as the sensitive foot, the quick, and then your cow will end up. So, like the advice that we will be giving is just move cows gently, get plenty of time, get plenty of space. Don't old cows in a collection yard after making it and avoid it. Allow them to go straight to the paddock. Consider using a bat latch so that it's not an automatic gap opener. It means that your cows can wander into the car at their own pace. And if you come along then as a herdsman, you're just gathering up to extractors. We want to avoid the situation where you big mobs of cows, rushing along in sort of a tight space, because that just leads to damage to soul, the beast, and ultimately that leads to the problems.
And any points you want to make about feeding the cow? Do you consider you have to be kicking mind over your, we'll say, buffer feeding or feeding over the once?
And yeah, I think one of the challenges on farms now between buffer feeding and zero grazing is feed space. That if you have a situation where feed space is tight, you have a lot of competition, like pushing each other. Ideally, what you want, is somewhere between 2 and 2.5 feet per cow. So in most sheds, your span is going to be 15 feet. You're on the seven cows span. And if you have situations where all your cows and feed together, you'll end up with some cows that will be pushed to the back. They won't be able to get in, and then you're pushing and shoving, and this is all hardship on their feeding. And I think it's important to remember in that situation that the cows that we tend to be excluded are the cows that need to feed the most.
Yeah.
They're the first parvo, so maybe they're the ones that's a big lame, or maybe the one that kept the afterbirth that's a bit thin. They will often get pushed back in us. So like in feed space, it is pretty big. That I think as farmers you need to think about that, and we need to try and make it easy for all our cows to feed together as far as possible, especially now as we're doing more buffer feeding, we're doing more zero grazing, a greater requirement than ever for that.
So then you say the biggest takeaway from that is time, space, and take the pressure off the cow. Let cow come out really rough.
So, like in the past, when you have 50 cow herds, it wasn't half the problem because it heaps the space and everyone heaps the time. Now we have a situation where we don't have space and we don't have time, and the cow is put under pressure as a result.